Okay, afternoon, everybody. We've passed the midpoint of the 9-day campaign. We've covered many issues over the last 5 days. There's been the usual hurly-burly of the elections and toing and froing. But in the midst of all this excitement, we should not lose sight of the longer-term priority, which is to secure a better future for Singaporeans, which is what the election should be about. If it were not during election time, in normal peacetime, then the issues which would be uppermost in Singaporeans' minds, things which concern them here and now, but also concerning the future, would be things like the cost of living, things like economy and jobs, education for their children, housing for themselves and their next generation, healthcare for themselves and old folks. Big issues which are major items on our national agenda. Some of these issues have been aired over the last few days. Cost of living, I think, has had a fair amount of focus and coverage. We've explained, we've presented, I think we've also distributed some of the, I think the growth dividends have gone out, so people know about it. Economy and jobs has also had coverage because Lim Hng Kiang has done quite a full exposition more than once, and I think the SDP in putting up their proposal has done us a service because it's focused the discussion and we can have something tangible to understand what the issues are. And yesterday, of course, was May Day, so the rally and the speeches there were focused on the economy and jobs, which is, as I said yesterday, as always, the first priority for any Singapore government. Another issue which has been discussed a fair amount has been housing. In fact, this has been going on since several months now. And we've explained what we are doing. HDB is building 22,000 flats, more than ever this year, both to meet demand and to keep prices affordable. But I know that there are still concerns amongst young people, and these are things which I will come back and talk about later a little bit more. So I think that we should spend some time over the next few days between now and the election focusing on some of these serious longer-term issues, and in particular education and healthcare. I've asked Dr. Ng Hen to, later on he'll meet you and then he will explain some of the things which we are doing in education and the plans which we have in the pipeline. And then after that, Koh Boon Wan tomorrow will talk about healthcare and aging issues, so that we present what it is which we intend to do in vivid, tangible terms, so people can relate, understand, and feel that this makes sense for them, benefit them or not. We have good proposals. We believe we have good proposals. We've been working them a long time. And the voters should scrutinize them, as well as opposition proposals, if the opposition has any proposals. Some do, some don't. And decide which are the more comprehensive, more cogent solutions. Besides policy areas, we should also ask if we've covered all the different groups in the population amongst the voters. I mean, PAP represents a broad mass of Singaporeans. We have explained our help to the lower income Singaporeans. But I think one group which perhaps we have not spent so much time talking about and which may feel a little bit left out from the discussion is the middle class and the sandwich class of Singaporeans. I can understand their anxieties. They have some. They are financially better off. They have more resources than the lower income Singaporeans. But they have high aspirations for themselves, also for their children, and also, in some cases, they have significant commitments. And they face burdens. They want to give their kids a very good education, starting very, very young, way before school. They are often taking care of elderly parents and worried about that. They want to keep their skills current and do well in their careers. And in a rapidly growing economy, but a rapidly changing one, many of them are concerned about job security, and what happens if they lose their job? Can they find a new job, equivalent terms and pay in a new sector, which is not so easy if they are 40, 50 years old. They also worry about good housing for themselves and their children. And that is why they are called a sandwich class, because a sandwich pressing, they feel, on all sides. The PAP's overall policy with this group, in fact, is to progress as many Singaporeans as possible into the middle class, so that we have a fat middle in our society, and to help this group to enjoy, this broad group, to enjoy better lives. And therefore, many of our programs, which we put as national programs, in fact, are meant to benefit these sandwich group of Singaporeans who feel sandwiched. For example, in education, we're building a whole range of options into the system. School of the Arts is now got a very handsome building at Dhoby Ghaut. We've got NAFA, which has just teamed up with the Royal College of Music to offer a degree program, offering a new route for people who are musically inclined. We're offering very good new university options. Singapore University of Technology and Design with MIT, the Yale NUS College, NUS and Yale, the Liberal Arts College, the SIT, which is a route up for polytechnic students to go on and get good degrees, as well as good polytechnics and very spectacular ITEs in the east and the center and the west of Singapore. So many options so that kids can develop their abilities and aptitudes, and not everybody has to squeeze through the same narrow funnel, and you have a wide range of choices in Singapore. And parents don't have to send their children overseas to get a good education, which I think will be a relief to many parents, not just because of the expense of sending children overseas, but also I think parents worry if you send your kids overseas, will they come back, or will you worry about them while they are there, and particularly with daughters. So, no, it's true. So, we're offering... So when we talk about education policy, although we didn't specifically say this is meant for middle-income Singaporeans or sandwich class, in fact, they will benefit from it together with the others. The same true for healthcare units, hospitals, step-down care, outreach to the homes. But I leave this to Common One to talk about tomorrow. Third area, which I mentioned just now, is jobs upgrading and reskilling. PMET jobs are plentiful in Singapore and incomes are rising, but even PMETs must focus on upgrading, because competitors also have PMETs in China and India, and PMETs also worry about losing their jobs. And it is not easy if you lose a job as a PMET and your company either restructures or it moves offshore, and you try to pick up the strands in a different company. Well, you may have a problem, because it's your network, your know-how, your skills may not be so easily transferable. So we started off with skills upgrading programs for blue-collar workers mainly, but we recognized this need and we started skills programs for PMETs recently, and NTUC trained 7,000 PMETs in these programs last year. And this year, the Workforce Development Agency has introduced what they call a STEP, which is a Skills Training for Excellence program, to help PMETs to broaden and deepen their skills. And as we gain experience with these programs for PMETs, because we are starting on a relatively small scale, we will expand them so that the PMETs can continually adjust and find new jobs where their abilities can be well used. I think this is one of the factors why PMETs feel unsettled and anxious about the future, and if we can provide them some help in the restructuring and adjustment, I think it will be valuable to them. The fourth area which the PMETs worry about would be housing. People talk about unaffordability, but unaffordability is something which worries not just people who are low income, but even the middle and upper middle income Singaporeans. And HDB meets these needs, and that's why HDB builds a whole range of flats to cater for a range of income groups, all the way from 2-room flats to 3-room to DBSS to very special projects like the Pinnacle or the Peak, which are meant for the upper income ranges. But I know that the Sandwich Group are very focused and concerned about the $8,000 income ceiling. Young couples are marrying later. They are often in their 30s, mid-30s, not just in their 20s. And so when they apply for BTO flats and they don't get them, and then 3 months passes before the next BTO comes, now less, but 1 or 2 months pass, and then a promotion may be on the way or an increment may be on the way. What should normally be good news for celebration becomes a cause for anxiety because you get a promotion, you may be promoted out of range. And so if you look at the resale market or the private sector, private property, they may not find it so easy because they may not have the cash and it's beyond their means. And also, many of them will want to are close to their families and will want to live close to their parents so that the parents can help to look after their grandkids in due course. And that may or may not be possible in a mature estate. And then they are trying to buy a house, their parents chip in. So it could be a significant anxiety for them as well as for their parents. We recognize this, and this is something which we have been studying what we can do, and which is the reason why earlier this year we raised the ceiling from $8,000 to $10,000 for the DBSS flats, the top range of the HDB flats. We considered whether to do it for the other HDB flats, such as a BTO, but we haven't done it yet because the property market was very hot and we didn't want to add more pressure on the BTO flats queue, or for that matter on the resale flat queue, because once you change the ceiling, many eligibilities shift, including the CPF loan. But, including the HDB loan, I mean. But we know that incomes are rising, and especially this year, we know that NWC has recommended higher total wages for workers this year, and the labour market is tight anyway, so I expect wages to go up this year. So the income ceiling is something which we are studying. We will revisit it again after the effects of the current round of measures becomes clearer. So overall, I think for the rest of this campaign, we should focus on the major issues which concern our future. Jobs, education, healthcare, for example. Housing. But also pay attention to the concerns of Singaporeans. Singaporeans who feel that, yes, the economy is growing, yes, the job opportunities are there, there's full employment, but there are things which have caused them anxiety or unease because it takes them, they've had to adjust, and it's something which is not quite what they're used to, whether it's because of foreign workers here or whether it's because of job changes or policy changes. I appreciate and empathize with these concerns, and we are taking a range of measures to address these concerns and try and ease the difficulties for Singaporeans. I talked about housing, but we will similarly address other concerns as well. It takes time to get things right, but step by step we'll get there. We are doing all this not in a vacuum or in a static position, but against a backdrop of massive changes in the world, in the political, economic, security environment happening over the last 5 years, and I expect will continue to happen for the next 5 years at least. We will do our best to take Singaporeans through safely and to improve the lives of Singaporeans, but we don't always get things completely right. And when things turn out unexpectedly or problems arise, I hope Singaporeans will understand this, bear with us while we fix the problems. But I think we can fix the problems, and we keep going in the right direction. I have no doubt that in 5 years' time, we'll have a Singapore which is much better than today's. So that's my message for today. I'm happy to take questions.